Hello and welcome to episode 8. 8? Episode 8?
It is.
I've got episode 7 at the top of my notes. Episode 8 of
Episode
Under
8.
Fire. My name is Sam and I'm not here once again with Sam.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I am far away in a different world.
In full lockdown mode. This
Full
time around.
lockdown mode. Yes. Unfortunately, had to isolate
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks. Wait, I mean, it has its benefits, but also actually physically not being able to leave the house for
grim.
2 weeks
Yeah.
is has been pretty grim. Yeah, as fun as it sounds, it's not.
It wears
not
thin
been fun.
soon. I remember
Very,
it well.
Yes, very very thin.
Anywho, this episode is part 2 of our sort of 9th edition wish list, dreams, hopes, things we'd like to see, and we're going to be discussing the knights. I think are you going to do Imperial and Chaos? I know the kind of.
I mean, yeah, kind of. I'm gonna more on Imperial Knights because that's what I own.
They have pretty much the same rules anyway.
Yeah, I think like just a kind of a general knight thing that as well in there sort of thing.
Yeah. And I'll be doing the Thousand Suns, which touched on a little bit last week when we spoke about Death Guard, and there's some crossover there, but
yeah,
to still be. I've got a few points. We're gonna mix it up though.
Yes.
We just decided about 15 minutes ago.
The little switcheroo.
Little switcheroony. We're going to do the hobby progress and Instagram pick and stuff like that at the end of the episode, and we're just going to go straight into the topic and see how that works. So
see if that
if you think it's better,
tickles anyone's fancy.
If you think it's better, let us know.
Yeah.
So screw it. Let's just go straight into it.
Let's kick it off.
Just pull the cord.
Shall I take the helm and go? I've got my notes and all my jazz.
Take the helm. Tell us about what you'd like to see for Imperial Knights in 9.
Okay. Okie dokie. Well, Knights. Again, one of those armies I started last edition. Always liked the idea of them. However, didn't realise they were going to be as powerful as they were last edition to start with. Not the reasonings for my purchasing. It was more how cool is having an army of knights.
They are
is more
cool.
than thing. Very, very cool. So I think there's a stark difference with now how 9th edition works to how 8th edition works.
Yes.
So in game terms, not just the actual army. So for what's 9th edition all about now? Objectives.
Yeah.
It's taking and holding objectives. Your secondaries obviously come into it, but primary objective, hold and defend objectives across the board. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely. It's all about that. I've said before.
It's all about that.
You don't need, in theory, to kill a single one of your opponent's models to win the game. You could literally.
No, you could. If you can hold and you can keep it, then you're going to rack the points up. You're going to win. You're good. Which, for knights, I mean, one would think a great knight against most other things, unless it's another knight, you're going to be like, this is my objective, mate. I'm stood here. I've got this. But it don't work like that. So
that touches on a question I was going to ask, because I don't know knights very well. All I know about knights is that they're not particularly fun. Well, they're not fun to play against, but you just sit there and you let your opponent tell you when he's done shooting. Generally, is how I've approached knights. They don't have a rule for taking objectives then in terms of they count as 10 or anything like that.
Well, they have. There's a way around it. There's a relic you can take, which is like a banner that you put on, and basically in 8th edition you counted as 10 models.
But only one model could have that, presumably.
But only one model could have that. I don't believe. I mean, I've got the codex here. I will have a flick through whilst I talk, but I don't believe there is a stratagem. I mean, saying that there probably is a stratagem, and I haven't done my research properly. But I don't believe there is a stratagem that gives you the ability to count as anything else for holding an objective or anything like that. I
but
don't believe
even if
there
there is a stratagem, it's not a baked-in rule for every model in your army, which is what you'd
No,
expect from
no,
from a
not at all.
huge giant walking mech.
Completely. I mean, just put it into perspective of you could have two free guardsmen stood below you on an objective,
Nope.
and they would be holding the objective, not you.
Yeah, which
just doesn't feel right.
feels
You're
a
a
bit weird.
knight. You're there. You're a big great knight. You shouldn't. A guardsman should be terrified of standing underneath of a giant walking metal behemoth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something that I hope they address in the book. Given, I mean, I don't even think, is it too powerful to say a knight is each knight counts as 10 models. Each knight counts as 20 models. I don't think that's ridiculous.
I think
Because I think even being underfoot of 20 guardsmen or 20 Chaos Space Marines, you're a titan. If you're on the objective, you're on the objective.
Yeah, I
you know
can
what I
see
mean?
that. I could. Yeah, I think 20 is a lot. There's not a lot of units that walk around in groups of 20.
No. But
Um,
my point being is unless it's another knight.
Yeah, I know what you mean from a lore point of view.
You should be taking that object. You are the thing that's there. Now, see, I don't think that's broken. I don't think that'd be broken because you're not. I mean, you are quite quick, but you can you can combat that. You can get things in the way. You can put things to stop them getting to objectives. It's the exact same thing. You got at the end of the day, if you're playing against knights, you need to kill the knights. When one knight dies, you literally lose such a big portion of your army for taking an objective. Do you know what I mean? So it's obviously not the little knights. I don't think the little knights should have the same sort of feel because to me they are kind of on the same scale as like a war walker sort of thing. They're not a knight. They are Titanic and they are, don't get me wrong, they are still a knight, but the big knights should at least be able to have a rule built in, I think, across the whole board that you count for X amount of people, or some way of taking the objective over your opponent.
It's interesting because if I was playing against knights with my Dark Eldar, for example, my entire mission would be every single objective you're on, which realistically with knights is going to be, you're not going to be standing on more than 3 at a time.
Yeah.
You stand on it, I'm going to fly a venom in, I'm going to park it next to you. You'll blow it up in your turn, and then I'll fly another one in. So you'll never get that objective because I'll always make sure I've got a tank within.
Yeah.
Because you score at the start of your turn, so all I'm going to do on my turn is just land something next to you and say nope. So there is definitely a degree of.
It's stuff like that. Like, it's daft, isn't it? It's just it's I don't know.
It feels weird.
It doesn't feel right to how a knight should be.
I know what you mean.
But I mean, swings and roundabouts. Knights were fantastic last edition to start with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You could probably, I think maybe if they don't introduce a rule for objectives, you'd have to pick your secondaries well, because you should be able to kill more models than
definitely.
Stuff like that. So maybe that's the.
You should be able to kill more, but I mean, if you're constantly losing out to the primary, you're constantly on the back foot anyway. You're always at each turn going to be 15 down and 10 or 15 points. Like, how many can you actually pull back in your secondaries? Like, you know what I mean? If you're constantly on the back foot. I mean, don't get me wrong. As fatigue would go through the game, you would, unless your knights have been shot at, completely shot to shat. You should have started then to whittle down the opponent. So there should be less things that they can just lob at you to try and tie them objectives up. But just something, just as a thought of, I don't know, either some war gear that you have to give up something to take something that allows you to have a better presence, or whatever, some way of working that into the game so that it's not as sort of. It is very difficult to just go, I'm just taking knights, but to have a good foothold for the primary.
There's an interesting. I've literally this thought's just come to me as I said about secondaries, but one thing that you couldn't do with a pure knights list is any objective that requires you to take an action, because you'd have to give up an entire turn of shooting for a knight, which is just even the small ones. I don't think you want to give up.
No, you're sacrificing so much. All right, you've got a lot of firepower if you build it all right. You could blow the hell out of everyone, but if you don't kill enough, you're always going to be then one turn behind.
Yeah.
If the opponent plays it right, which I don't know.
I think you'll see less pure knights than you used to, even though the.
Oh well, definitely. I mean, now
the change to detachments was designed to stop soup, if you like.
Yeah.
I think with knights, it's almost made the issue worse because you don't need the loyal 32 for the command points anymore. You just need them for the actions and
the presence
and the presence.
But that's what annoys me. You're taking 32 guardsmen now, not for screening, or I mean, you still use them for screening, but you're not taking them for screening, or you're not taking them for the command points. You're taking them to take objectives.
Yeah.
Like
so
to be a foothold on the board.
Yeah.
No. So instead of the knight being the I will take the objective and the guardsmen will go in front of me, it's now the knights are just going up whilst they are sitting on the objectives. It makes more sense that way. If you think about it, I suppose the guardsmen would be doing whatever it is on the ground to get the objective, whilst the knights are just storming straight forward. So it does make sense, but I just feel like the knights should have more of a presence on that sort of thing.
Agreed.
But saying that, I think there's a lot of good variety with the knights. There's a lot of different pattern sort of styles of knights, a lot of different weapon options. Now you've got the smaller knights and all that sort of stuff. But I think they could go a bit further. I think in the vaults of terror and in the past of there's a few extra sort of guns you could have. You could easily make a few different variants of knight, which would make it a bit more interesting. Maybe a different type of combat one or something like that.
Yeah.
Something instead of just going, I'm just going to take a chainsword and a fist, and then just storm it up the board, and that's it. I don't know, something different, something.
Yeah,
a bit of variation in sort of the combat side of it, because I think combat knights would just, if you could just do like a full list and it'd be viable, like beastly tough, just charging up the board. Combat knights would be epic. Let's be honest.
I like the idea of a small unit that are just for knights that are like, Titanfall. The game. The pilots are these sort of slightly upgraded humans that run a bit quicker, shoot a bit faster. I'd like to see something like that, like a small, maybe jetpack unit that just flies around the bottom of the knights. And
you bring me on to my second bit, which is actually having infantry based or something along those lines. Not like a loyal 32 guards or anything like that, but an infantry based unit
specific
that is in the codex, that is part of the codex.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I don't know what sort of thing, but you could go, like you say, stuff like that. I really think it'd be a good idea to have like mechanics or something like that, like the people that would be working on them or something. I don't know, something to go with them.
Yeah.
Just as a bit of fluff running around. I mean, obviously they're not going to be repairing a knight. A tiny guy ain't going to be repairing a knight on a battlefield like that. It's just the knight's gone. The knight's gone. You would think of it like that, but something, guardsman based, but not for the. Try and make it so that it's not for the same reasons of just chaff.
Yeah, because
in that regard,
the princeps of the Night House would have some sort of royal guard or something like that.
Exactly.
They're not imperial guard. They're not subjected to the Imperium. They are controlled by this princeps or whoever it is that running the Night House, like a knight royal guard or something. You could make them. Yeah. You can give them those sort of, like you've done your imperial guard with those sort of plumes and all that.
Which is kind of what I was trying to do when the whole loyal 32. I mean, I did do the loyal 32. Well, you're gonna if you're playing knights, but for that reason. And I used some fancy bodies, and then the Skitari Ranger rifles, and everybody had like top hat plumes and tricorn hats going on and stuff like that, and it worked. It looked really good, but it gives that. You can then make them in sort of like the heraldry of the knights and all that sort of stuff, and it ties it all in. It'd be just be something. So I feel like it'd flesh out, because let's be honest, knights are fantastic. The idea of the knights fantastic, but you're only ever having three knights and a couple of little armigers.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the chaos. You're gonna have a couple of knights and whatever, unless you're souping stuff up. But take that having to soup stuff up, and take away the putting the law 32 in, because you're gonna take the warlord trait to just regain what are they called? Command points.
Yeah.
Command point farming. Take away that, because that was a little bit silly anyway.
Yeah.
From the knights, and give them something to put out that's useful as well. Makes it a bit more fluffy. Gives you some variation. Gives you some out. You're coming up against a knight player. You know that then you're not just got to take big guns to take out knights. They're going to have these dedicated little troop squads and stuff like that. Just a bit of something else, flesh it out. Like you say, something like the Halo style thing would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Drop podding. I mean, imagine if you could drop pod the armigers or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You got these guys that you just have, like, you take single blokes, they just run out, and then they can just turn two, just Halo drop this Titan in.
Yeah,
that'd be
cool.
I don't know if that would work in the lore, but they should do that.
Yeah, but you make it fit in the lore.
Exactly. And then on that again with the infantry, I was thinking, like, they've done it with one of the models. I think it's Canis. I think his name's Canis Rex, one of the knights, the character they made, which I like. They should bring some more characters in. I think they could. That fluff of they've done some sort of. They've done a few knights, and there's a bit of fluff and a bit of backstory for a few of them. I mean, from the codex, I think there's one. I can't remember what it was called, but it was very cool looking model. But they've made their own heraldry, and it's in its own scheme and that. I can't find it now. I can't remember if it was called the Black Knight or the Emerald Knight or something like that. There's a really nice looking color scheme in that. But to be able to have, here we go. To have some different rule sets that are specific to one knight, so giving them that bit more flavor, a few more characters you could put in, and build armies around some actual character knights and a bit of backstory and stuff. That'd be pretty cool. There's the Obsidian Knight. That's one of them that was really, really cool looking model, cool color scheme and that. And I think it just had a bit more flavor. I think that's what I feel like with knights. It's just flavor in you've got these massive war machines that you're making up heraldry for, which is nice, but add a few characters in, add a few special characters, which most armies have got. Give the knights a few special characters, and for the chaos.
I was going to say,
imagine
a chaos
knights, a special character, some absolute twisted whatever that's fallen to chaos years ago, and now he's basically not even in there. He's just his soul in there or something. Yeah. His body's gone. It'd be quality.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, it'd be very cool. And sort of my final point, because there's not a lot. The rest of the stuff is actually quite good. The weapons are good. I think they're not over crazy damage or anything. I mean, it's a lot of shots with some of them, but I don't think a lot of them are stupid damage.
Right.
It's what it should be for a knight.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah,
you're paying for 500 points for a knight. You should have like the bigger knights. What are they called? The
tyrants. That's the
not the big ones. Sorry. Here we go. The Castellan and the Valiant types. I mean, the Castellan with their massive volcano lance. It's a volcano lance. It should do strength 14 -5 3d3 damage.
Yes.
It should heavy, but it's only heavy d6. You could swing. You could get one. You know what I mean? It's one of them. If it pays off, you know.
Yeah.
And the same with the Valiant. That harpoon. How cool is that harpoon, man? which is strength 16 minus 6, 10 damage. It's one shot, but I'll take that any day because that's incredible.
Yeah.
So I think weapon wise, they've got a lot of good weapons. Stratagem wise, the stratagems are actually quite good. There's quite a lot of stuff you can do with them. But adding in some stratagems, if they're not going to, like I said at the start, if they're not going to make knights be able to take objectives, put in a stratagem that you can do something to, bolster the defense at that point or something like that. I mean, that'd be quite good. Because I think that there's not much that they're lacking. It's just it's mainly on the objective side of things. Defensively, knights are pretty good. I was thinking would be quite a nice idea. I don't know how. I think you might think this is outrageous. Putting in a stratagem.
Oh God.
Right. Putting in a stratagem. So a knight has got a 5-up invuln from its shield. Yeah. And you can bolster the shield, rotate iron shields, increase that to a 4+. I think they should put in now, because this before I even tell you this to me this is, in fact, no, I'll tell it you and then I'll explain what I'm going to say. So basically, I think they should put in another shield related stratagem. You could point it high, you could 2 free CP, but you rotate your iron shields, and it is a 1-use stratagem, but you have a 2-up in.
Get out.
Now listen to me.
That you
listen to me.
They used to be able to get 3+ and they stopped it.
Listen to me.
There's no argument you can make.
It's a one-use stratagem. You can only use it once. Okay. You put all the power, all the fluff, blah blah blah. You put in all the power to the invuln. Yeah.
Yeah.
For 1 turn, you gain a 2-up invuln. However, after that turn, your invuln is gone. You've shot your shield. Your shield is absolutely knackered.
Okay.
But in that dire last minute, you needed to put all the power to the shield. I mean, take some elsewhere as well. Make it a free CP or something. And after it, you lose your invuln. Invuln's gone because you have shot your shield. You've literally all the energy's gone to it, and you've just bolstered it for one turn. You could lose something else. I don't know. You move characteristic, or you at the end of it you take a wound or 2 mortal wounds or something. Whatever it is, a couple of mortal wounds, something like that.
I'm leaning. I'm leaning.
You know what I'm saying? My thought process was: imagine how cool that would be. It's 1 knight left. You're stood in the center. The opponent just needs to absolutely nominate this 1 knight, and you've just got that one stratagem up your sleeve that. All right, at the end of it, you're on the back foot. You've got no invuln. You've given yourself a lifeline. You need to then absolutely Hail Mary and kill everybody afterwards. But for that 1 turn, you've got 2-up invuln. I think there's something in that.
There's something in that. It would need. You'd have to test it and see, because it would be on the cusp of being absolutely incredible or absolutely shit, depending on how you.
Depends how,
what the payment is for that 2-up invuln. Like, there's an argument that you can't shoot for that turn, for example, because you put all the energy into the.
I agree. I agree. There should be some negative. I mean, losing your invuln is quite negative, but
you're losing a 5-up invuln, aren't you?
Yes, so but you could be putting your iron shield for a 4-up invuln.
Yeah.
So
no, I
absolutely losing the invuln. Is quite.
Because what's their normal save? It's a 5, is it?
Normal save? No, 3-up save.
Oh, is it 3-up
save?
Okay.
Yeah. But you think, what are you going to be firing at night? Most of the time, you're going to be taking it to a 6 or a 5 into it.
Yeah, I could see that working. It would take a bit of testing. I could see it working. You've convinced
something
me.
Along those lines. Something a 1-use, just 1-use, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah,
but a 1-use, high costed, but just am I right? You never use it, so you don't even use it. But it's like having for Dark Eldar the Agents of Vex strategy.
It's in your back pocket.
It's there. It's high cost. Your opponent knows you've got it. Do they want to go? All right, I'm going to kill that knight. All right, put it this way: you use the stratagem like this. Your opponent needs to kill that knight to win the game.
Yeah.
On his secondary, say he puts everything into it. Okay.
Yeah.
You hold off, or you just do it straight away. Whichever way it looks, depending on how you're going to do it. If you just held off and then he has to fire one last gun at you, and you just go bang, I've got a 2-up in one.
Yeah.
Now the probability of you actually killing that knight is very, very low. However, it cost 4 CP. It now taken the invuln away. I've got one last lifeline to have a go. I don't know. I think it'd just be it's kind of a fun. It's thematic as well that they would just go put all the power to the shield quick, and they just take volley coming into them. They just stood in the middle, just absolutely taking everything.
You've convinced me.
There's something there. I mean, your initial reaction was my initial reaction when I thought of it.
I say, and then, I think if anyone turns around and says, "I think Knight should have a 2-up invuln," then
good God, if anything, or a 3-up invuln, 2-up might be too crazy. But I think to then lose your actual shield is quite cool because you've just overpowered it. It's now burnt out or whatever. But yeah, that's something to think about. But stratagem-wise, I mean something like that, something a bit more defensible would be quite cool like that. I mean, at the end of the day, they are 24, 26 wound massive monsters, so it's a weird one. I think most good players are going to take at least a knight out a turn.
Yeah.
If they've got their army built right.
Yeah.
It's one of them. It's like if you're going up against people that know what they're doing, you're going to lose a knight a turn. You've only got 2 turns of effective. Unless you don't get the first. If you get the first turn, you know what I mean. It's a weird one. So I think something defensible would be quite good actually.
Yes, I agree, definitely.
In that regard. Definitely. And then my final point. I'm rambling. Sorry. My final point is just like the Canis Rex model. When it blows up, Canis, the actual pilot, gets out.
Okay.
And you have a model for the pilot. Yeah. I think they should just do that with all knights. Or have a stratagem on a or you roll the dice on a 4+.
That's an interesting point.
The guy,
because the idea of the one of the crew getting out, the thing's blown up, but he just manages to hold that objective. That's quite cool.
Isn't that cool? Exactly. That's what I mean.
Just one guy with a pistol.
Yeah. He hits the big red button. His Die Hard style comes flying out of the roof of the cabin, and then just drops down beside it or something, or do it like he ejects, but you roll 3d6 and he lands over there somewhere or something like that. I don't know, however you want to work it. But I think actually having each night when it blows up on like a 4+, a character gets out, and you can get so much fluffy conversion ideas then for your night pilot as well and stuff like that. And just like you say, they're not going to have much in the terms of weaponry. They're going to have a pistol, but how cool's that then? This captain, this knight, whatever, just hides behind some thingy firing over the top of his burnt out knight wreckage.
That is cool because the process of detaching from a knight, particularly when it's getting blown up, is incredibly damaging for the guy that's piloting it, because he's plugged into the knight to the point where he is the knight,
Yeah.
So the idea that on a 4-up he's managed to just power
yank the cable out
and just sort of crawl out of the wreckage.
Yeah,
I'd like that. And then if he just takes an objective at the end, I do like.
Could that. You? But I think that's what I'm getting at, is just my general thought process about knights is they're just, for me, in a fluffy. Don't get me wrong, knights are fantastic, but in a fluffy way, knights lack just that last little bit of something to make them really, really fun. I think if you added something like but yeah, that's basically my thoughts on knights. There's not, I say, and the same with chaos across the board. A lot of that I would say, you'd mirror it and you do basically the same sort of stuff. And how cool would it be if you had the Chaos Knights, if they blew up, you get this half man, half demon.
Yeah, he's not
thing.
It's not seen the light of day for.
Yeah, how cool with that, like all
millennia.
chains and stuff and possessed. There's so many things you could do, so many conversions and cool sort of stuff you could do like that. So yeah, that concludes my rant on knights and all things knighty. I'm sure there's lots of other stuff. That's other stuff I could really think of that affected me or made me, what I like about knights that I'd like to see in the books.
I think I'll be honest with you. I've always been not a hater of knights, but I've always found them oppressive in the sense that when you're up against knights, particularly just a pure knights list, as you're deploying, you're not going to win this unless you've brought a very specific set of tools.
Yes.
Which, if you go into a tournament or you're playing knights beforehand, obviously you should have brought that very specific set of tools. But when it's like, oh, should we have a quick game? You don't know what your opponent's bringing. You've brought a list that's not designed for killing knights. You haven't got a chance in hell.
Yes.
That's always been my thing with knights. I think.
Yeah. It's always been a little bit when I have brought knights. Even if I've told people I've brought knights, it's like you bring knights, and especially last edition, I haven't actually played with them in 9th edition, but in 8th edition, it was just like point. There's my guns going into these, and then they weren't there anymore.
Yeah. You needed a very specific army list designed to deal with knight. You needed many las cannons.
Yeah, basically. You need a lot of firepower to take out knights.
But I think in this edition, with the objective-based nature of it, like we always played in 8th, we always played with the cards. So it would be,
yes,
whatever you drew on the cards. So in theory, if you drew cards right, you'd have a chance of winning against the knights. But realistically, a lot of those were kill X, kill Y. Whereas having the choice of what secondaries you want to take now, you can tailor the list at the point of the game to exploit the weaknesses of the knights. So I definitely think in 9th they'll be more fun to play against than they were.
I think it would be a big difference playing against them in this edition.
Yeah.
We haven't had the luxury of playing too many games, but I think that's definitely one to actually have a go with, is try the knights against something that maybe even as a test game, don't fully go for killing knights. Like the idea of that, bringing the stuff to kill the knights. See if you can play the mission and actually outlast the knights, sort of thing.
Yeah,
basically.
Definitely. It'd be an interesting one for like the Harlequins, who have a lot of haywire, so can sort of probably have enough firepower to take a few knights out or weaken them to the point, but also have that ability to just outrun them. That would be an interesting game.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Any other points?
No, that is pretty much me done with that stuff. Yes, that is me done. Cool. Hand it over to you, sir.
Cool. Do you want a break? Or should we go straight into it? Break?
We can go straight into it. I've got all my snacks around me.
I don't need to move for many days.
I don't need to move.
We'll go straight into it then. So, Thousand Suns in 9th edition. So I've played Thousand Suns basically since the start of, I suppose actually before 8th, wasn't it? Really. I only really got them on the tabletop in 8th. I had the models before the 8th edition Codex came out, but I didn't have any games played. So pretty much since 8th. And I've enjoyed them, to say the least.
Greatly.
But a few points. Not as many as I had for my Dark Eldar, which I think says a lot about how I think the Thousands Codex is a better representation of what I expect Thousands to play like than the Drakari one is, I think.
Yes. Okay.
There's less to talk about. But first point I've said is basically just echoing the points we made about Mortarion last episode, but for Magnus. I don't think we need to repeat ourselves.
Yes.
We spoke about it at length.
Yeah.
We'll know as
Dies
soon as
too easily.
Basically. We'll know as soon as the Death God Codex drops and Mortarion's rules what Magnus is going to look like. I think
definitely.
The two should be fairly similar. So I've then put, and we touched on this last week, access to more of the Chaos Space Marine specific units.
Yeah.
The ones I've listed are the
same.
Master of Possession, which just seems ridiculous that to me isn't in a Thousand Sons book.
Yeah.
Like, he's a psyker involved in possession. Sounds very Zeechy to me.
It sounds a little bit.
The Lord Discordant, who's all about the demon engines. There's a whole 2-3 page spread in the Thousand Sons Codex about how they love demon engines, and they, because it's demonic possession at the end of the day, a demon engine. That's for the whole thing. Venom crawlers again. I'm not 100% sure what venom crawlers do, but I know they've got a bit of a.
They're pretty good.
They're
pretty
sort of
good.
Thousand Sons-ish in the way they sort of play, I think.
Yeah, I did get some when I was doing a little the Black Legion sort of thing where they are quite good. Let's say they're quite good. They're average sort of demon unit.
Yeah,
demon
that's what I mean.
It's a filler.
Yeah. But So this seems like a really small one here. And
Hey.
You heard. But for me, if I could pick one change and none of the others happened, it'd be this, I think.
Okay.
Things that have bolters that aren't rubricae should also have the AP-2 bolters.
Like
put
your
the points up.
that.
Put the points up, that's fine.
I agree.
But why? It's just such a simple little, and it's like.
I forgot to bring the witch ammo.
It makes the vehicles feel like they're not part of the army, and they've just been brought along. Like, it's just such a simple little change, and you know, I'd pay 5 extra points. I'd pay 10 extra points. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
So,
it's not like it's going to change a game.
That's the thing.
It's not going to be
such a small
like
thing.
a holy cry. Now you've got them 4 shots at -2.
Yeah, all of a sudden,
how will I survive?
Rhino spam becomes like the latest thing.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen, is it?
No.
So I think that's such a small little thing that they could do that would, just
completely
ties
agree.
it together a bit more.
Yeah, completely agree.
I've put expand the rubricae. So I'd like to see rubric havocs. I don't see why the rubric marines can't be given heavy weapons and be told
have a dedicated squad for it.
You could still have a sorcerer in the squad that start leading them and telling them where to shoot.
Yes.
But give them, las cannons or stuff like that. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, completely agree.
And again, it's another choice. I've always loved devastators, like and havocs. I just thought
having 4 of the Soul Reaper cannons.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That'd be cool.
Imagine them just marching forward with the all his dust thing.
Yeah. Just rotary soul fire.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be quite high in points, but bugger it. They're quite high in points anyway. They're a pretty, pretty elite army list, so I would love that. I put this one in, this next point in huge capital letters.
Better be a big one then.
Psychic Dreadnoughts.
Ooh.
Please. Why do Blood Angels have access to a Librarian Dreadnought, but Thousand Sons don't?
You're not wrong.
If you look at the lore,
you're not wrong.
Look at the lore. Thousand Sons developed the technology for a Psychic Dreadnought. The one I've got that I use for the Contemptor, that's from the Horus Heresy.
Yeah.
This thing that was their Psychic Dreadnought thing. Why do we not have that? Like, I'd take it. I don't even need a model.
Yeah.
Let me take a Hellbrute, but let me give it Smite, and I'm happy.
Just let it do Smite,
and then I'll just I'll convert something up to look cool,
It's very much like the Death Guard one. I don't believe they made adjustments and did it. Don't have Disgusting and Resilient. They're Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, just
like that should have Disgusting and Resilient. I know you can give a stratagem and do it, but why should you pay for that when
just increase the points a little bit? That's all you need to do. That's why I was so happy when I put the Chaos Knight. I bought that, and I saw that there's a relic in the Chaos Knight book to make your knight a psyker.
Yes, that was cool.
And I was like, this is literally the best thing ever, because
made for you.
Just brings it all together, and it makes the whole thing feel like a more cohesive.
Yeah,
definitely. Army. I've put Thousand Sons specific vehicles. I think I spoke about this last time, in the sense that Death Guard have their own vehicles, you've got the Mephitic Blight Hauler.
Yes, the Blight Hauler, the fly. I can't remember what the drone is.
And the little mini
Plague Burst Crawler.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to see a couple of Thousand Suns, specific ones like that.
Units.
Leaning into that demonic possession, it could be, I don't know,
I can feel
that launches psychic energy at them out of a huge.
Yeah, it's got to be something psychic.
Yeah.
Just fires a massive smite.
Yeah, or something like that. I mean, we've got the
Vortex Beast.
Vortex Beast, which is great, but it's an Age of Sigmar unit that they've just
chucked in,
transferred across. I want to see something bespoke.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because I like to be a special snowflake or something like that, but I just feel like just something that's Thousand Sunsy that they've done themselves,
Yeah.
Because I like the reason I started collecting Thousand Suns because I really liked I read the Horus Heresy book. No, I didn't. I read it after. I read up on.
You're lying to me.
I am lying to you. I read up on what they were all about, and I was like, "This is incredible. I love this Legion, and I want to feel like I'm playing with the Legion." You know what I mean?
I feel you. Yeah,
definitely. Vehicles. I keep the 9 cults from Psychic Awakening, which I can't see them not doing, but.
Yes, I would have said they're going to keep that sort of stuff in.
I think that's just one of the coolest things that's been
definitely
introduced. I love the Cult of Time and all the stuff around that. If anything, double down on it and give them a bit more.
Definitely.
And 9's a lot. Like, how many did Death Guard come out with? Their different play was it 8? 8.
No, 7. Wasn't it?
7. Yeah. So got a lot of options there.
Definitely,
which is cool. I know the Death Guard, you got a couple of stratagems specific to each one, didn't you?
So yeah, each one got, I believe, a Warlord trait, a relic, and then about 3 stratagems, something like that. So it was like a specific thing for the.
We got a Warlord trait, a relic, and a psychic power. So I'd love to see a couple of stratagems specific, like the Cult of Time could have such cool stratagems in there for messing about with
manipulating.
Set your character to the wounds he was on 2 turns ago or something. You know what I mean? Or something like
that.
That's a biggie. But you know what I mean?
That's a biggie. I know what you mean, yeah.
Just something like that for... although you'd have to remember what he was on 2 turns ago, I suppose, but,
Definitely.
Or move him to where he was at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, definitely like misplacement and move things around. That'd be cool, yeah.
Full integration of the demons, which we spoke about... with relation to Death Guard, about putting them in the actual book for a start.
Yeah.
I do think from a new player perspective, having the stuff that each army is able to take in its own book is a big thing. Like, not having to think, right, what other books do I know what it is because they want to sell more codexes. I get that.
Yeah.
If I'm a new player and I've bought Thousands Codex and I see this Keeper of Secrets in there, I'm going to buy one.
I feel you.
If I don't see the Keeper of Secrets in there because it's in the other book, and maybe I don't know that I can even take it because I'm brand new to the game,
You're less inclined.
You're less inclined, and I think just keeping it all in one book, and it'd help them as well from a now you're paying for detachments, just being able to take those units without needing another detachment. Obviously, is that too powerful? I don't know, to be honest.
No, I think
potentially, but
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
and there are demons in there. They've got the flamers and the screamers and the horrors, I think.
Yes,
but I just want the Keeper of Secrets, to be honest, because not the Keeper of Secrets.
Keeper of Secrets. Don't know what you mean?
Yeah,
the big guy. The big Birdman.
The Birdman, it's a Keeper of Secrets.
Keeper of
What's the
Secrets.
Slanesh one called?
Keeper of Secrets.
No, Slanesh.
Oh, Zeech. Ooh. Let me have a look.
I know, that's
I'll
really
go on the web.
How have I forgotten
you carry on
this?
now. I'll find it.
It's going to bother me. Hold on.
I'll just shout it out when I see it. Oh no, they are the Keeper of Secrets. It is.
Yeah, I know I got it.
The
wrong.
Lord of Change.
Change. No,
that's the Zeech. Sorry.
I know everything about Father and Sons.
We amateurs.
I know. I knew. I was reading it then. I was like, "That's wrong." The Lord of Change, not the Keeper of Secrets.
Lord of Change.
Yes.
And it is a fantastic model.
It's just beautiful.
A massive bird.
And there is a special character order change, like, and obviously I don't expect that to be in the book. You know, that could
Karos
be
Fate
Weaver.
Weaver.
Yeah, leave that in the Demon's book.
Yeah.
That's fine. You know, I
Yeah.
appreciate that, but just
Definitely.
I want a bird man.
Same with Nurgle. I'd love to be able to just summon a greater demon,
unclean one,
summon a great unclean one down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's not like because
how it should be.
Because demons now have got the access, they can do the exalted great unclean one, can't they? Like, we don't need access to that. Leave that. That's the demon side of things, and then that encourages you. If you do want that, that's where you take a demon detachment.
Yeah.
But just getting a standard Lord of Change in, good for it.
For sure.
I'm just gonna buy one anyway.
I'm doing it.
And then I put more options for Exalted Sorcerers. So Terminator armor. I so want an Exalted Sorcerer in Terminator armor.
Yeah.
I don't see why I can't have as an Exalted Sorcerer in Terminator armor, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We spoke about it last time about the Death Guard things. Just yes, we get it. You don't have a model for it, but you know what? I'll make a model for it.
Yeah. Just leave that with me.
Please.
Don't you worry.
I really want it. Obviously they can have the discs and stuff, so they do have choices, but it's more the Terminator armor and just a few other options.
Just to drop down with your rubric.
Just drop down with the
Terminators
Scarab
as well.
Cool. Yeah,
Scarab Cool. Yeah.
Brings me on to my next point. I want another Terminator unit.
Oh, okay. What, a combat unit or
possibly, or something like that. You got the Scarab Cool. Cool. Let's just have another one. I love Terminators. I don't. It doesn't fit into the lore because the Scarab Cool were the Terminators, but screw it. I just want something different. Or like, the option to take off the ranged weapon and put on another close combat weapon or something like that. You know.
Yeah. Give them some power fists as well.
I used to love the old. It doesn't work for Thousand Suns at all, but I used to love dual lightning shield Terminators in Space Marines was always my thing.
Lightning shield.
Lightning claws.
Lightning
claws. I'm not doing well today, am I?
What's a lightning shield, Sam?
Although
does that one work?
2 storm shields.
I am the bulwark.
You're not getting through that. Yeah, two lightning claws.
Yeah. Yes.
Was awesome. So, and that you won't have that because it's not a Thousand Suns, but just something like that.
I know what you're saying. Some make up a weapon. Give us a
like a Zeech.
Give us a
psychic something.
A Zeechy stick with a sharp thing in it.
Yeah,
you know, one of them.
That's its full name.
Yeah,
Zeechy thing with a sharp thing. I've then put for Crusade because I like to think about Crusade. Yeah, and I don't know how this would work, but if you could get it to work, it would be awesome, right? Zeech is all about like the overall picture. So he's pulling strings everywhere, and he knows everything is part of this plan he's got.
Yeah,
I like the idea of like if you're part of a bigger Crusade campaign that's maybe more than 2 people. I can get bonuses from other people's games. And influence the way that game has gone to Zeech's benefit. Like,
okay,
I don't know. I'm not. I don't know how it worked because Crusade's not really built that way.
I know what you're saying.
But the idea of like, because he would sort of subtly influence someone in a battle that was nothing to do with him, because further down the line that benefits him. It'd be really cool to just bring out that part of Zeech and how the.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I like that so much. If we do a narrative Crusade, we'll just make something up and implement that anyway.
Yeah, well, you can't
I like the idea of that. That is I agree with that. That is pretty cool.
If you've got a campaign with like 10 people in it, and you see a battle, and you can find some way to influence it, I just think that would be so cool.
I mean, like we've just seen on the preview for the Warhammer Twitch, sorry, the book for the Death Guard, the Nurgle Crusade book. Hopefully they do something like that for Zeech, and then might have something like that. You never know. It might have that sort of flavour mean, that, like you say, that is literally Siege, isn't it? Pulling the blooming strings in the background.
Yeah, he's not even there, and he's influencing people. Like, if a certain unit dies, I get a bonus because then, if you're part of if you're part of a campaign, right, with like 10 people in it, and you know that if these 2 people are playing a game, nothing to do with you, but you're watching, but you know if one of those players kills that other player's leader, you get a benefit. You could try and influence him as you're watching the game. Just like, well, why don't you charge him? Because, you know.
Come on, mate. Yeah, go in the
charge
tin.
him. Do like some Darren Brown stuff, like trying to like. I had Darren Brown Connor once, full on.
Did you? Oh yes, I remember that. Yeah, I can't. What did you say though? I remember it happening, but I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember. It was a Dark Angels thing, I think, and he picked an objective and he kept it secret.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
and he kept it secret, and he wasn't supposed to tell me what it was for some reason. And I said, Connor, just in your mind say the number, and his eye darted straight to it. Literally, it was perfect.
He looked straight at the objective, and he was like, "Thank you."
As soon as I said number, I went like, "It's 4 in it." He just started laughing.
He just died inside slightly.
Yeah, it was probably my finest hour of all time.
Oh,
properly Darren
was you
Brown
playing Thousand Sons?
I must have been, yeah, because it had been early on.
It would have been, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So just bringing that sort of into it, I think would be beautiful. It wouldn't work in tournaments and stuff like that, but definitely for Crusade, you know.
Yeah, where it's a bit more fluffy and fun and whatever. Anyway, isn't it? Less rules.
Less rules, more fun. That's what we all want.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's about it. Wasn't a lot. I can't honestly say I'm not like. I'd really enjoy the Thousand Sons Codex. There's not a lot about it I don't like, so it's I think it's in a good place. It's always been relatively powerful. When it first came out, I remember it was a top tier thing for a brief amount of time, and it sort of dropped down a bit as newer codexes came out. But it's always been.
Yeah.
I've never felt particularly underpowered, except for when I've been going up against knights.
Which again would have been in 8th, so
which would have been.
I mean, now in 9th, it might feel a bit less.
And I've got my own knight now anyway, so push comes to shove.
Exactly.
I just bring. I think if you can't beat them, join them.
Bring them. I think you're just saying then about the Fat Thousand Sons have sort of been sat in a nice space for quite a while. I think both Death Guard and Thousand Sons, because realistically they brought out in 8th, weren't they? The Codex were brought out in 8th. They both sat in a good spot.
Yeah.
Whereas Chaos in general struggled for a long time against Marines.
Yeah.
But I think the Thousand Sons with the resilientness of Thousand Sons is actually quite good as well. The actual with all his dust.
Yeah. What I like about that is
some of the powers.
Yeah, it feels like a different resilience to what you get with the Death Guard as well.
Yes, definitely.
Like they're both resilient, but they're resilient in different ways, which I like.
Yeah, but I think that's where those two, so the Death Guard and the Phantom Sons, have actually been quite good, competitive, and just in general, just like good flavour, good fluff with everything. Felt like what they should be.
Yeah.
To quite a good degree, all the way from the start of 8th, whereas Chaos in general have kind of just sort of been behind Marines all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just been sort of like catch up all the time. Whereas even if they bring these rules in for, which I think they're going to, aren't they, for the extra wound and stuff for Marines, I'm assuming across the board.
Yeah, I believe thousands of Chaos Guard are going to get them as well. Yeah,
are going to get it. Chaos and these detachments are going to get it. That's just going to add. I mean, they're already you've played Death Guard loads of times. How frustrating it is to try and kill 5 Plague Marines. Now they're going to have an extra wound.
Yeah, and here's the thing with Death Guard as well. You hear that sort of disgustingly resilient 5 up, you ignore the wound, not the damage.
Yeah.
The wound.
Yeah.
And you think, well, you know, that's not too bad. You know, it's a 5 up. You don't roll 5 ups that often. When you break it down, that's a third of all wounds.
Yeah.
Regardless of where they're coming from, are saved. Like that.
Yeah. That's the thing as well. Now though, you because really the way to kill Death Guard was fire damage 2 weapons.
Yeah.
Fire damage 2, increase the chance that they're going to have to, on the disgusting resilience. Now they've got 2 wounds.
Yeah.
So they've only got to roll 1, and they're still alive.
Yeah.
You've hit them with a two damage weapon, but so now are you going to have to put in 3 damage weapons, or because you could do weight of fire? Don't get me wrong, but you've got to then choose.
But even
most
then, like, I've
high rate of fire.
I've tried to do weight of fire on you before, and it's not. You think you've got enough bullets, but you really don't.
That's it. I mean, you've got a 3-up save. If you're near a Mephitic Blight Order, you've got a 2-up save because you're in cover, or if you're in cover, you've got a 2-up save, and then pair that with you've got 2 wounds and you're getting 5-up feel no pains on them.
Yeah.
Pretty tasty. Tasty.
And I think the best games we've had in 8th were Death Guard Thousand Suns. I think they were always close.
Yeah, there was always very good close games.
I think it says a lot about the books in terms of going back to what you were saying about the Thousand Suns and the Death Guard being ahead of Chaos Space Marines in terms of staying pretty good throughout.
Yeah.
When you have a book that's specific to a certain play style, so the Thousand Suns is the book for Thousand Suns, Death Guard is the book for Death Guard, and this is what they do.
Yeah.
When you've got a book for Chaos Space Marines that has to encompass Emperor's Children, World Eaters, Alpha Legion in one book, it must be a lot harder to get that balanced.
You've got less
specificity.
Specific. What are they called? They're called legions, aren't they?
Yeah.
Specific legion. Relics. Specific legion stratagems.
You're trying to do a catch-all book.
Exactly. Where we've got 3 pages of Death Guard and Thousand Sun stratagems, they've got generic ones, and then only a couple, 1 or 2 for the specifics.
That tie into their play style specifically, which is why I think the Emperor's Children and the World Eaters Codex just can't come quick enough. Like the quicker they come out, we're going off topic now, but I'd love to see Emperor's Children and a World Eaters Codex separate things, and then
definitely
have a Chaos Space Marine Codex that sits like the Space Marine Codex does currently, and then a supplement for Alpha Legion. Word bearers. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but those ones that would benefit from a supplement, not a separate codex. Like
1,000,000%. I think Thousand Suns and Death Guard are too big on their own.
Yeah, they can't.
Same with World Eaters. The same with Slanesh. When you get into actual Space Marines, I don't think really, bar Space Wolves, I don't really think they should have been supplement. I think they should have been a full book. And
yeah, I could see that.
Dark Angels, because they've got a lot of different things, and Blood Angels. The rest of them, I think they could have been just Space Marine book, and then do your tiny little supplements for everything else.
Yeah.
I think there's probably either side of everything. There's about three codexes that should just be of that specific, a full book for Chaos and for Space Marines.
Yeah, definitely.
Waffling. I'm waffling, Sam. I can't.
Waffling.
Sam, I'm waffling.
Once we get talking about Chaos, we're off, aren't we?
When they pull you in.
Let's take a quick break then, because this is a full hour chunk now that I've got to edit. So
I see.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll do the things we normally do at the start, which will be, and we'll cut the time down. I think that we'll put into it as well.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just have a quick
chat about what we're getting on with, and we'll do our Instagram pic. So we'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and we're going to be doing what we normally do at the start of each episode. We're going to be talking about hobby progress, purchases, painting, building, whatever you've been doing. So,
yada yada yada.
I haven't got a lot to talk about, to be honest with you. I've not failed, but it's been a slow one for me actually.
It sounds like you failed.
None of us. We don't fail.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I failed. No, I'll be honest.
You've had a
with
slow
you.
week.
So I came out the starting post at an absolute pace. I think I said last episode I painted 7 days on the trot.
Yes, you did.
Did pretty much the same thing the week after, and then this week I just haven't painted anything.
You can't do it all. You can't do it all the time.
No, I just had a slow one, but I did finish my Harlequin troop, which was my sort of pledge. God, I tell you,
I went blind.
It is a bit,
bit tasty.
I'm happy with them. They're not my best paint job ever because you can't do your best paint job ever on these models and hope to ever have them on the table, you know. So I cut some corners and left some bits, you know, not as developed as I'd like to, but they're done, and from a distance they do look good.
They look good.
And
well, that is what matters.
Did the diamonds. A lot of the a lot of the corner cutting comes actually from the diamonds because you do them, and then however much time you put into fixing them is how good they're going to come out.
Yeah,
getting them all the same shape, size, etc. is a backwards and forwards thing. And if I did it to get it perfect, I'd still be doing it now. So, but they're done.
Yeah,
so
they look very good as well.
I don't want your judgment.
You know don't throw that shade my way.
Don't throw it. Don't give me your negativity.
Get rid.
Yeah. So, but they're done. And then the only other thing I've done is I've built the Underworld's warband Hrothgorn, the big ogre.
Hrothgorn. Oh yes, the guy with the crossbow.
Yeah, and his cat and some Nobblars. I built him because I thought, you know what? That's going to make that my next project. I'm gonna build and do that, and then and that's it. That's honest. I know. I've let myself down. I've let the fans down, but that's what I've done. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's respectable. It's respectable. Well, I have had the fortunate or unfortunate, whichever way you look at it. I mean, at this latter stage of this lockdown, for myself, isolation, losing my mind. But even though, because of that, I've had quite a productive 2 weeks, week and a bit. I started my not Alchemist Guild, my Blacksmith's Guild, pretty much the weekend before I had to start isolating. I sort of did one test model, got what I wanted, and then I just smashed it out. First week, smashed it out. Nice, a couple of hours here and there. Probably spent, I don't know, over that week. Probably, I mean, to be fair, I've not painted in a long time.
Yeah.
Prior to this, I mean, you'll know I've been very, very, very quiet on the painting front. It's been months since I've actually picked up brushes and stuff. So actually getting back into it and having the time was a bit of a blessing to, reignite me back into painting.
Well, here's the thing. So I'm just to interrupt. I'm looking at your Instagram now. Your last painted post before your Blacksmith was the 24th of August.
Oh yeah,
you posted your Blacksmiths on the 3 days ago, which had been the 19th, 18th of November. So it was a full month. 2 months before you.
2 months.
Yeah.
I've actually, The only thing I've done in between that is make that board, which ain't technically proper painting, but it was just pissing about. So yeah, it's been a long, long time.
But you have broke the seal.
I broke thy seal and I've painted the full shebang. The whole thing is done, and very, very happy with them.
When you say the whole thing,
yep.
Both boxes.
Oh no, sorry. I said by no. By full thing, I mean my full 6-man
team. Yeah.
First team. That I'll be.
They look very good.
I think. Yeah, I think. Well, thank you. I think will be my sort of mainstay. Yeah. Four of them will probably be mainstay, and then I'll just sort of like flip between certain things. But
they look cool.
Done.
I like the. They look greasy and.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted
working the forges.
Yeah, dark metal, sweaty, whatever sort of things. But yeah, really, really enjoyed it actually, and like I say, got me back into it. So finished my Blacksmith first Guild Ball team done and dusted, which I'm happy about.
And your first ever non-Games Workshop miniatures.
It is my first ever fully completed non-Games Workshop miniatures. I've started many little things in the past. I've never finished none of them because I've always just gone. Games Workshop stuff is just better, so I've just like sort of dropped it and gone whatever. But we got on the Guild Ball hype pretty hard. If anyone hasn't noticed, we haven't mentioned it in many episodes.
No.
So getting into some models that were actually quite good were, different sort of models that weren't Space Marines or space something,
Not
you know.
sci-fi, yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice to paint something that was sort of oldie worldy, Age of Sigmar-esque sort of stuff, but from a different game. And I love the models. I love the characters as well. Like actually going through and painting individual models again that are specific, you know, very unique looking models.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for the sort of stuff that I love
The
painting
sort of thing,
anyway. Yeah. Yeah, really got me into the guild themselves, and you could see the backstory and all that sort of stuff. Nice little project anyway to get me back in. And then I have made, primed, and started one of the Butchers Guild.
Oh.
So I've got the seven, because I've got one that I'm going to switch out. But I've got 6 guys. Started painting one of them. Pretty much all done on one of the models. So I've got the color scheme down.
Who did you start?
So that I started Boar, veteran Boar.
Yes.
Big axe wielding crazy
Maniac.
man. Yeah. Again, love, just really nice models. And I mean, the fact I bagged the resin Butchers as well when I did was a blessing. So
yes,
started that, and then I've been talking to you for a couple of days about
I can't handle this.
My secret project.
It's giving me anxiety.
And you're on the right path-ish with some of your things.
So for context, you put up a Instagram story with some paints and some clues in the form of a song and some GIF type things.
Some GIFs, yeah.
And I don't like not knowing things.
No, and
so
it's hurting you inside.
It's honest to God, it's driving me up the wall. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You know what I love though? I'm literally not going to tell you until they're done and ready to go. I won't. I'm loving this too much. I'll be honest with you. I've started this secret project. I have gone full bore into this secret project as well. There's been modeling. I've painted. I have color schemes done. I have several different items of color schemes done. I've actually painted quite a lot of stuff. Based everything that there's some stuff in there, and I don't think you'll ever think what it is. I don't think you'll get it. It is and it isn't.
Is it Tau?
I just don't think you'll get.
Be honest.
Do you want me to be honest?
Don't fuck off.
It's not Tau. I got you there, though, didn't I?
You did. I genuinely, I was out my chair then.
I wouldn't touch Tau.
Well, no, because your picture had a load of browns in it, and I just thought,
no, no, he's done it.
You were my brother.
It's nothing to do with Tau. I've said in passing comments to you certain things as well, and I don't think you've took them on board. The things I've said. And I've literally, at several points,
I don't listen to what you say.
I've even mentioned the army.
Oh,
I've even brought up things about the army, and you've just been like, yeah.
Oh,
so it's literally there, and I'll be honest with you, it's just perfect that I'm in your head.
I do love the idea that you've. At some point, you're going to put a fully painted army on the field that I have no idea what it is.
Yeah,
and it's just going to be there.
I mean, it's just a beautiful idea that I've had, and I mean, what I've done. I'll be honest with you, it's been sparked by one model. One model. I mean, I know for the people listening to this, you're just going to be like, well, we don't have a clue what we're listening to here. I'm sorry, I can't put anything up. I can't give you any more information than that. There was one model.
Do you know what you could do?
What's that? Teasers. Do I do teasers?
You could put it on your story.
Yeah.
But you can hide it from specific users.
What? So show everybody.
So show everyone, but then I couldn't see it. You would have to block my missus as well, because I would send her on a reconnaissance mission.
You'll just make a fake account and follow me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'd never know. So what I'm gonna do, I might take very, very, very suggestive pictures of them. So suggestive? That's not the right word. That sounded dodgy.
It's definitely Slaanesh.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Pictures of them in a way that you can't see what it is, but yeah. You get it, yeah. It's good.
I want to confirm for the people at home. It is 40k.
Yes.
Okay.
You've asked me several questions, and I've been very honest.
You've been vague.
I've been honest. We talked
vague.
about these things.
It's been like fucking Line of Duty, like trying to fucking question.
It's all clues. Everything's clues. I'll be honest with you. I've dropped so many clues, so many hints. I've lost count. And you're looking at me, gone out all the time. It'll all cut. When you find out, it will just make so much more sense.
Okay.
I don't know what else you need. I don't know what else you need from me. I've basically told you everything. But anyway, enough rambling. I have painted a very large amount of stuff. I've painted a lot of stuff. Full guild, part of another guild, and then my secret project. I've also done a lot of hobby sort of cleansing, I will say. Hobby cleansing. I've got rid of things. I've kept on top. A very, very big thing that I've never really done before. Keep on top of your hobby space. My lord, It makes you just feel so clean and good when you actually come down to cracking on with stuff.
Yeah, I have a thing about unfinished models on my desk. I can stomach one unfinished thing on my desk at a time. Any more than that, I get annoyed.
I'm sticking to that philosophy of, I was doing the blacksmiths, and I thought I might start doing something of this, and I thought, no, finish the blacksmith.
Finish your project, yeah.
Put them out of the way. Start the next project. I've also kept it fresh by mixing these things up. Like I feel like that's my issue sometimes is stagnation with the same thing.
Yeah.
The curveball that my secret project is just revitalized me again into another, doing stuff properly.
Yeah. Different projects.
And I feel committed to finishing the things that I've started, even if I move on to something else afterwards, to mix it up.
Yeah, beautiful.
But I've committed to that. But yes, that is me for the week. I've not really bought anything, except a few paints.
I've not bought nothing because I'm doing my Christmas shopping. So
yeah, I need to save the money.
Yeah, basically.
I need money for other things.
Plan for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to probably paint Hrothgorn's squad, and then I might get back into doing some of the Guild Ball. I might finish the Brewers, just get them done, the whole lot.
Yeah,
and then they're locked off. So, about you?
I'm gonna continue with my secret project.
Oh.
The few bits that I've got left in this.
One day you're gonna mess up, and you're gonna say it instead of saying my secret project.
I'm like a sealed vault, mate. Sealed vault. The depths. I'm a sealed vault. You're never getting it. Carry on with that. I'm gonna, and then I think I'm gonna possibly, I'm gonna try and get some Space Marine stuff done for my Void Hawks.
Oh.
I've got a few bits I want to do. I'm not going to commit to something. It's a toss up between doing some of the Space Marines or actually doing some of my Death Guard, because I've got some bits of that I want to get finished, and obviously the new books looming. Not that we're going to have a game anytime soon, but it's looming. So that might spur me on to do some of that. So a few things to choose from, but I'm not going to commit to anything.
We're not doing the wheel, so you don't need to.
Fuck the wheel.
To commit to something, you could be quite generic. So
yeah,
brilliant. Let's finish off then with Instagram pics of the week. The chosen of Zinch and Nurgle.
Yes.
I'm going to start because fuck you. That's why.
That's fine.
I've got and I'm going to try and send this right. So it's Sons of Ananta. Okay, that's SONS. OFANANTA. Okay?
Hit me.
And then it's quite an old post. It's not a recent one. I mean, the whole account is beautiful, but
yeah,
if you go pretty far down there is I believe, a Eldar Wraithseer cradling the dead body of a Harlequin.
Yes.
See
Oh
it?
yes. Yeah.
And I just think,
Oh, that is very pretty.
and it's going back to, we've sort of talked about this the last few episodes, where it's that transcends being just a miniature. You know, it's
Feeling into
there's feeling into it. You know.
Yeah.
I just think, and the paint scheme is,
That's very cool.
That's a lot of white, and it all looks good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. The faceplate on the Wraithseer's got like a lightning effect on it, which is beautiful. And I saw it and I was like, I would never think to do something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Everything this guy does is amazing, and he does a lot of these sort of tableau dioramas. Further up, there's towards the top, you see the sort of Harlequin and the witch embraced in a sort of dance.
Yeah.
Like that, like the parts he's picked to create that, like it doesn't look like there's a lot of chopping and changing. He's just picked the right bits, and I just think the whole account
does look very
awesome.
Cool.
And I'm on a Harlequin hype at the minute, so it spoke to me.
It jumped out at you.
It spoke to me. So yeah, that's Sons of Ananta. If I'm saying that right, if I'm not, apologies.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So check him out. What about you?
Okay, mine. I have no idea how to say this how it's whatever. I will spell it to you and I'll let you decide.
Oh God, okay.
It is TUAPUI Wolf. Tuapui Wolf.
Tuapui. It sounds. I think it must. It sounds almost Hawaiian.
Tuapi Wolf.
Tuapui Wolf.
Tuapui Wolf. Something like that.
Something like that.
But it's yes. But it is the post specifically is the Helldrake.
Yes.
That he's done. I just love it. It's very Zichi, Thousand Suns.
I really
colour scheme's
like
got
that.
going on, and I just really, it's like he's done sort of like sort of like a spray or something with hexagonal bits in there, but the colours blending.
I love
just dead nice.
The blue and the purple.
Yeah.
That is,
it's really nice.
I wish I'd come up with that.
And then the sort of the runes and the bits in between, sort of like they've obviously been done underneath what he's then put on top, because you can see that some bits are under it, some bits are not under it, sort of thing on the paint job. It just looks, it looks really nice.
I wish I'd thought to do that. I'm not going back and respraying on my Thousand Suns though, but that is
that is nice. Isn't it?
But
I mean, after doing a Helldrake myself, there is so many panels, so many little pieces to paint. It's just definitely something you should consider for your Thousand Suns, because they are very cool. They are very, very cool.
The Helldrake, it's on the list.
Yeah. Death Guard, unfortunately, cannot take.
What stopped me? The only thing that stopped me from getting Helldrake is I've nowhere to put it at the minute. In all honesty,
just chuck it in a little box. It'll be fine.
No, I don't live my life like you.
You don't need foam for everything. You can just put it in, like, strap it to the car.
I'm not getting
You're good.
Strap it into the roof box.
Yeah. But that is
nice.
Yes.
I tell you what's interesting is if you go one of the other pictures, he painted all that on the sprue.
Yeah.
I've always been against doing that.
Yeah, for when you cut it off the sprue, you've got that bit you've got to repaint. But I suppose majority of the pieces of that on the sprue are on the edge trim. Yeah. So you just then fill it in with gold.
That's
makes no odds.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful miniature, beautiful paint job.
So we'll say it again. That's
I don't know.
Tuapui Wolf.
Tuapui
Wolf. Can't be that. TUAPUI WOLF. And sorry to Tuapui for
just give us a thumbs up if that is how you're supposed to say that.
Because every time we've said it wrong, the person has messages and said we've got it right. So
yeah,
maybe
we just sound thick in our heads. I think is more the thing.
Excellent. Anything else to add? Anything else to talk about?
I think that is me done, mate.
Brilliant. Hopefully the new format works for you.
Yeah.
for everyone. The idea is really just to get straight into the crunch of it, and if you're not interested in us personally, what we've been getting on with, you can switch off at that point, because we're not that interesting, really.
We're just trying to make a living, guys. Just trying to make a living.
You know, it moves the fluff stuff to the end of the episode, so we'll carry on with that for a while, see how it goes. If you want us to go back, tell us. It was Sam's idea, so.
But which Sam?
It was your idea, not mine.
Why are you saying that? Why are you spewing the illusion?
If you do have any problems with it, send him a direct message to his Instagram and tell him.
Yes, that is explosivo_.
I'm going to leave that in. Good. Brilliant. So we're back in 2 weeks.
Aye.
If you like the episode, like it, subscribe, comment, do all the social stuff. Share it. What else is there?
That's throw it.
Share it. Throw it.
Mail it.
Yeah.
Email.
Send it to your parents.
Yeah, definitely.
Bosses, loved ones. Share it all around. Brilliant. We shall see you in 2 weeks.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.